What's up folks, Jay here back at again with a quick food review. Hope you're staying safe, staying healthy. So if you're new, click subscribe. If you're returning, appreciate you. Just about to go to Mott32, so Chinese restaurant where the name comes from the first Chinese building that housed laborers in America. Oh, it's right here. So it's on Mott Street. So yeah, the restaurant's right here. It's elevated dining, dim sum. So I'm gonna hit it up. Let's get it. Excellent, thank you so much. Alrighty folks, so after seeing a few posts popping on IG, Mott32, like I said, so they coined the name just because for the first building, heritage building in New York, that's where they house the laborers, the Chinese laborers. So first building in New York, that's how they coined the name on Mott Street. So I think the address was 32. Building 32 on Mott Street, and so they have like a few locations. I believe there's one planning to open up in the Philippines, like New York, Shanghai, etc. So gonna scope out the menu. They have this menu. They have mocktails, cocktails, barbecue, starters. So on IG itself, I've seen like they have like a duck situation, but you have to pre-order a day in advance. And then another instance was the another shumai situation. But yeah, I will scope out the menu, decide, and I'll go from there. Stay tuned. So this is their menu here. Suckling pig. Ooh, nice. Barbecue, starters, frog's legs. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Some evening dim sum here. Some soup. Bird's nest, wow. Abalone. Market seafood price. Fresh seafood. Meat. And vegetables. And rice noodles. And of course dessert at the end. Alrighty, so shipped off the order. Ended up getting okay, so crispy roasted pork belly, classic. Ended up getting evening dim sum. So for here, the restaurant opens like 5 to 10, and they just recently opened up again as well. So evening dim sum, they extend until like last call, which is like 9:30 p.m. But I just wanted to go a little extra and get the main lobster hargal. So it's like a steamed dumpling, got one of those. Very odd request just to purchase one, but it's all good. And then I ended up getting a soup dish as well. The pea tips, fish broth, goji berry, and lily bug. So I got that. And I also got some noodles as well. The Shanghainese noodles, dried shrimp tossed with scallion oil. And then after, I did order a lot of food, and I came from like 2 other restaurants. But let's see how I fare with all those dishes. And I'll try to work my way through that, MacGyver it, and maybe get some dessert afterwards. But yeah, the vibe in the restaurant, pretty nice. It's got like leather seats. The bar situation looks dimly lit. It's like a date night vibe kind of situation. But yeah, like I said, the restaurant, they borrow the name because a building in New York, first building to house Chinese laborers, and they borrowed that first building in Chinatown on Mott Street, and the building was 32. That's why they named it like that. But let's twiddle our thumbs, wait for the food. We got quite a expansive array of dishes, like soup, noodles, pork, and then after like one har gow. But yeah, eat bits and pieces of it and take some stuff that I don't finish together. But stay tuned. Yeah, and got some still water here. Let's wait for the food. Alrighty, folks. Crispy pork belly, classic for sure. And they got some mustard sauce here. So I'm gonna try the original first. Nice and crispy topping. That first initial piece, the ratio of like fat to tender meat, it was more fatty, but let's try some of this mustard sauce. It's like a Dijon mustard style. Juicy piece here for sure. Nice glazed topping. Juicy, fatty, tender piece. The skin is, there's something about these pieces of pork here where normally if you go to like a different spot, it might be a little, but yeah, here it's just like a perfect combination of this, the amount of fat content. It's not overly fatty, but it's definitely a different kind of experience versus like if you go to like a barbecue shop, for sure. That's what I can distinguish. The skin is nice and crispy, biting into it. And it's cut just perfectly as well, just for every individual bite.
With a spicy lobster oil on the top, you can just easily squeeze in the dumpling.
Oh, excellent! That's pretty interesting and unique. Ooh. Main lobster here, boom, and a spicy sauce that you have to squeeze to inject it. So I'm gonna take some photos of this. Stay tuned. Alrighty, so main lobster har gow. See that? Ooh. Very surgical. Ooh. Big dumpling here, folks. Oh. Of course, wrapped in like a rice paper outside. The lobster itself, coated in that spicy sauce. Thank you. But yeah, that Maine lobster hard-yellow, when you bite into it, cooked perfectly. But when you remove the wrapping itself, it's just like eating a lobster. And then that injectable portion, very nice theatrics involved. But I'm gonna revert back to some pork here. Oh. Thank you so much. Yeah, very fine establishment indeed. I mean, like the water pour, very nice touch. But yeah, just waiting on 2 more dishes, I believe. The pea tips soup and then the Shanghainese noodles steak. Folks, next course has arrived here. Pea tips, goji berries, fish broth. I'll probably only have just a bit. This is a portion for like 4, I guess. Try the broth. Oh, too shoddy. soup is pretty solid. Pea tips and the fish broth and the goji berries, very nice. Nothing too polarizing. It's just, I would honestly say it could be good for like green meal or like a transitional from like the starter stuff, because it's a good palate cleanser, very warm, very filling. Yeah, I'm digging it. Go for round 2.
Traveling noodle with some scanning oil and dry shrimp at the bottom. On top there's a fish biscuit.
Excellent, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Another dish as well, boom. I'm gonna take some photos of this. So, fourth dish has arrived here. So, Shanghaiese noodles, fried shrimp, tossed with scallion. The full serving bowl is quite hot. The spoon is actually for the soup, but ooh. Mix. Scallion oil is very nice. First ever time ever hearing that kind of oil. Hold on 1 second. I do want to get a quick video for my own purposes for my phone. Here that. Alrighty folks, back again. Get everything in. Of the food that's left actually. First bite, Shanghainese noodles. Very different. Usually I'm accustomed to the noodles being way more thicker. These are very thin, but let's try it. Scallion. Nice and light, actually.
really nice Chardonnay, so it's amazing. So if you want, try a spoonful of that, and then follow with a sip of this. This is the Pure Lemon Chardonnay. It's kind of funny, there's not a lot of hope on this, but it's got a sort of passion fruit, pineapple fruit note to it. That'll be super.
Noodles are pretty solid. It's a nice change up for sure. Usually when I do get like a noodle of this variety, it's very carb heavy, but for this, I like what the chefs are doing in the back, in the sense that it's just the right thickness in combination with the dried shrimp and of course the scallion oil. Very deep, rich flavor. But yeah, in terms of the noodles I'm accustomed to, like I've had it where it's as thick as like one of these piercing pieces of the serving fork. So it's definitely different. I like what they do here. Deep, rich flavor. Oh wow. You're back. Just gonna get a little tour of the restaurant. Let's go on that little journey. Let's get it.
The wine or the restaurant, please let me know.
For sure.
So we're named after 32 Mott Street in New York, which is the location of the first Chinese convenience store outside of Hong Kong. This is a picture of Anna Wong, who was the first Hong Kong-born film star that came to America in about 20 to the 30s and made it big there. So you see some interesting motifs that are gone through the restaurant. So you see the abacuses. That's going to be repeated all through the area. We got abacuses up top. It's really fun. So we also have a really good patio. Although we're on one of the busiest streets in the city, just due to the way it's designed, you actually don't catch a lot of the noise. So it's actually a very cool spot to sit. It's shielded from the sun from the top and the rain. Beautiful spot to just kind of hang out.
Awesome. Yeah, West Georgia can be really busy for sure.
We're just going to put your food on the table.
Okay, sounds good.
So back in the day, the gentlemen getting together would get together and bring their songbirds in. They didn't have cars to show off or cell phones, so they'd bring songbirds in. So this is a touch to like an old Hong Kong cafe where everybody would bring their songbirds in, they'd sit and have tea for a couple hours, and they compare the songbirds. It was just a sign of wealth at the time, so it's kind of a fun motif to put into it. And of course the songbirds in the back.
Excellent.
Rumor has it that this is actually from Mott Street in New York. I don't know how accurate that is, but it's a cool touch just to have.
Wow.
I hope we didn't actually steal that from somebody there.
Right?
We also have a number of private rooms.
Wow, this is so nice and elegant here.
Yeah, this is a fun table. When I first started, I asked how much this table cost, and I've gotten answers anywhere between $5,000 and $25,000. So I have no idea how much it costs. I just know it's a very cool looking table.
Definitely. It must be so heavy too, eh?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to move this table if I didn't have to.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have a couple different party rooms. This door can close. You can be totally secluded if you want to be.
Excellent. Wow. And this seats roughly like 8 to 10?
Well, 6 people in this room. I've seen 8, but it's a little too tight. 6 is even just a little bit elbowy. 5 is perfect, or anything less than that.
Okay. Understood.
This is my favorite of the rooms. Mostly because it kind of reminds me of my grandfather's basement with the old paneling. But we call this the opium room for all the opium pipes that are built into the scones. And this will seat again 6 very comfortably, 8 a little tight, but it can be done.
Yeah.
One of the cool design features on the floor is that the Chinese coins embedded in the floor.
Oh wow. Must be a little intense to clean though, eh?
Yeah, I mean those are embedded, so it doesn't actually make a difference. It's just a matter of getting the mop over it, so it's not as bad as you would think it would be, and there's no chance you'd actually have to dig those coins out, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Wow, this bar is nice, but we'll get to it soon enough.
So one of the things that sets us apart is we have a very extensive wine program. We've actually won awards for our wine program. My boss is a big Italian lover, so we have an entire section of Italian wines, essentially. Okay. And I found that a secret weapon for duck is Chianti. Tempranieros work really with it, so there's a lot of really good choices. But we have our Bordeaux, our Burgundies, we have some Rhone, obviously the Italian section, Napa, and then the rest of the United States. I have Spain, Portugal, Canada, and then the kind of like hits from the rest of the world.
Okay. Interesting.
That Navidad is beautiful. It's a South African wine, Cinsault, really nice, and that's another secret weapon for duck.
It really, it's eye-catching, the label. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's a fun, it's a great wine. Not overly expensive, but just a really good wine. Here we have. This is a different private room because this could either be 2 separate ones. Our throne there. This could be up to 6 people comfortably. Again, the doors can shut.
Wow. This is such like pure elegance here.
Yeah, that throne chair is great fun. And then this table here, this can go up to 12 people. But if you wanted to get the 2 rooms together, what happens a lot is we'll have the adults in one room and the kids in the other.
Oh.
And especially if it's the kids in this room, it's perfect because we can do. Well, in theory, we could close the doors. Right. So we can close them off.
Okay, excellent. So it's good.
One more private room. This is by far the most popular. So this one, it's funny because this is set up for 6. This is perfectly comfortable right now. Sorry, 7. But I've seen this go up to 14 people in here.
14.
Because they really wanted the round table, and it's tight. But whatever the guest wants, the guest can have.
Yeah.
But classic Lazy Susan in the middle.
Yes, I was just gonna mention, like, I saw that different, like, contrasting color there,
Yeah.
so that's always good. Excellent.
Then we've got our bar, which you were alluding to earlier. So the bar is very industrial with the brass and everything, but it's also supposed to represent the Chinese apothecary. So you're seeing all the drawers there. They are false fronts, but it doesn't give you that sort of old school Chinatown sort of thing about the apothecaries and going in and getting everything you need. And we use a lot of like Chinese influenced drinks or ingredients for the drinks, just to make some really interesting ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you say is the most unique drink that the bartenders can whip out?
I think the Hanami is by far the most unique one. It's kind of like a Moscow Mule, with just extra flavor to it. But it's served in a big Bordeaux glass. It's got a shisa leaf and chrysanthemum flower as a garnish. Absolutely lovely cocktail. It's a great way to start off the cocktail. Kind of gets your appetite going. It's just a really pleasant one overall.
Oh, okay. That chrysanthemum leaf sounds like it's a nice touch to it.
Yeah,
for
it just
sure.
adds a little bit of a floral note to it. It's just a garnish, but it's a lot of fun.
Excellent.
We also, this thing that we're doing now is we're doing this. We'll take this to a table. We'll set up a flaming coffee for them. We'll do a flaming coffee table side just to have a little bit of fun.
Oh, wow.
Eastern kitchen. We don't do any Western cooking at all. So dim sum state and deep fry. The 3 wok stations there. Interestingly enough, for a person that was trained classically in Western kitchens, this is completely different. This is every chef has to know every single ingredient of every dish, as opposed to just being I do the fish or I do the vegetables or whatnot. So the gentleman here will prep everything into the bowls. They'll go to the bowls, go to whatever wok cook is open, and they'll do them very quickly. So they can get these dishes out in seconds. It's amazing to watch. And those woks are about 14 pounds a piece, and the way they maneuver them, like the wrist strength of these guys is amazing.
Yeah, that does seem a little intense.
Oh, yeah.
The woks they look pretty massive for sure. Oh, wow.
And it's basically, as far as I can tell, they're cooking on a jet engine. It's just turned the other way. So, yeah,
so this is all custom, like custom made, or
built as a Chinese kitchen.
oh, okay.
Possibly the most famous area that we have is our barbecue. So the ducks are hanging right now, so they're air dried. What that does is it separates or helps separate the skin from the meat. Then when they barbecue it, that's how you get that nice crispy texture onto the skin, and then of course the sauces that go with it. Wow. But we generally have do about 20 to 25 ducks a day, just as a cost of thing. So it's a really fun thing to do. It's great to eat, and it's a nice show.
Excellent, yeah.
Carve them table side. We'll bring it on the dolly and go up from there.
So that was a pretty upstanding service from the host there. One of the bar managers, they were mentioning a lot of the details related to the restaurant, how a local architect had implemented like abacuses. It's like an abacus is it's an old methodology of like counting, so they implemented that all over. There was an instance of like bird cages because those were they were a signal of status back in China. And also in addition to that as well, there were there was just so many details, and I don't know if it's true or not, but in one of the seating areas there was a piece from Mott Street. So don't know if that's true or not. It's definitely dated for sure. And the private rooms for special functions. But in terms of just everything in general, if you're into drinking, they have an expansive wine program where they have like Bordeaux's, Italians, Americans, Spanish, Portuguese, Canadian, also like whites and rosés. And another item as well they did mention was the duck. So on the menu itself, you do have to pre-order the duck a day in advance, just because the time and preparation to cook the product, it takes like 24 hours. And in addition to that as well, the kitchen, where there's no Western style cooking, it's all Chinese or Eastern style, where the cooking line, it's prepared with like woks. Majority of the dishes, it's like cut pre-built and then after installed to suit. In addition to that as well, the products are prepared into bowls, and then after the woks are like literally 14 pounds, so you literally need to have like massive wrist strength to toss the dishes, so it's a little intense for sure. In addition to that as well, they had like a huge steamer for like dim sum, but just everything in general. The service was amazing, the food was cooked quite well, and it's definitely different. In terms of the food, I'm gonna quickly do a review when I get to my car. I'm a little distracted right now. Stay tuned. Alrighty folks, so this is a recap review of Mott32. So if you're new, click subscribe. If you're returning, appreciate you. So like I said, got a nice delightful tour of the restaurant. There were motifs such as abacuses, bird cages, and Chinese coins scattered throughout. Very excellent detail for a restaurant. Pays homage to the traditions, not only that, but like the kitchen as well. So in terms of the items I ended up getting, the lobster hargao, the crispy pork belly, the pea-tip soup, and also in addition to that, Shanghainese noodles. So I would honestly say everything was a cut above, very clean tasting, nothing too overly salty, nothing too overly sweet, perfect harmony. The dishes I ended up getting, beautiful. The showstopper for me would probably be the Shanghainese noodles. Very delicious. In terms of a rating, I would give it a solid 9.5. Service was good, food was good. The only drawback I would say is the price, but apart from that, very delicious food. Definitely would recommend it. Interior is beautiful, service is beautiful, food tastes great. 9.5, Mott32 on West Georgia there. Take care, signing off, and bye for now.